We have to make sure that the politicians are held accountable.
Every administration had the ability to put a ban on asbestos.
When it comes to asbestos, it really is about power, money, and politics.
I never give up the opportunity to recognize a firefighter.
Me too. Annie, can we talk about your husband for just a little bit? So Annie is a teacher, and she prepares lesson plans and whatever else. I don't know what grade you teach, but you let your husband do his job. And I don't know how I could do that, but I so respect you for giving Patrick and others to us. So 2 stories. You get one personal and one professional, and you have to be in the middle. P.S. We had a typo. You get the Tribute of Inspiration Award. It happens with a nonprofit. So when I first met Patrick, it was in 2005, and ADAO had our first conference in Washington, D.C., but it was a press conference. Doug, Kim, and I had our first resolution passed, and we frankly didn't know what to do. So we invited Patrick and others, and Dick Lemon offered to come, and Barry Castleman, and we ended up with like 30 people. We thought, well, okay, this is cool, but we still don't really have a strategic plan. And lo and behold, the next year's unfolded to the most wonderful opportunity to raise awareness and prevention. Firefighters, for me, are really personal, and you guys are heroes. When Alan was sick, we used to call you. You guys would ask me, I'd call 911, and you would, firefighters would come. It's more than getting a cat out of a tree or squelching a kitchen fire. Alan couldn't breathe, and he'd be face down. Firefighters would come in and say, hey, Linda, how are you? They wouldn't ask Alan, obviously. And at the end, firefighters bridged us to a sense of humility and caring that I couldn't have bought with $1, and you gave that unwillingly. When Alan became frail, he sat in a chair called the Big Lily. It was a leather chair. He couldn't sleep in his bed anymore, and family was important. So we bought like a lazy boy chair. And one time when I had to call the firefighters, a firefighter said to me, oh, is that a lazy boy chair? And I said, it is. He goes, my wife won't let me have one. I said, well, why don't you tell her you want to have it now? Because God forbid you ever have to need it. And he kind of smiled. When Alan passed away, we called the Manhattan Beach Fire Department, and we asked them to pick up the Big Lily. And we wanted the fire department to know that they made a difference to Alan, to us, and our community. And that's just the personal story. Now Celeste gets to do professional. So there.
Well, actually, I wasn't going to say professional because Linda was talking about a lazy boy chair. And actually, my father-in-law passed away. And we also had a lazy boy chair. And it was the kind of thing where they were used to calling the fire department to help him get out of the lazy boy chair into the bed. And it was the same type of thing where the firefighters were like, wow, I really like that lazy boy chair. And when he passed away, they were so grateful when we called and they wanted the lazy boy chair. So it just kind of shows you the heart of firefighters and how much they really are part of our own families. And so thank you so much for all that you do.
Will you touch on EPA for a second? Because when firefighters show up with positions...
Oh, yeah. When it is really, when Linda told me that Patrick was going to be able to go to the meeting with EPA, and we both just said, I think simultaneously, that is huge, to have the firefighters there representing those first responders who are the ones that are most likely to be exposed at the highest concentrations, and we know now from the epidemiology the significant risk that they're at, much more than the general public, and they represent us. They're the heart of every community, and it's we are so fortunate to have them on the front lines of the advocacy, on our advocacy in this fight to ban asbestos.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Linda Celeste. Those were some very kind words. When I did meet Linda, it was 2004. After you meet Linda and she asks you to do something, you're kind of scared if you don't do it. When she tells me to do something, when she says, everybody thinks that I dropped and went to EPA, I knew that if she needed me and she asked me for something, for all the things that she's done for so many other people, that I had to, and I have to be part of this fight. I met Alan and early on, and he was the first. When I met him, he was just going through some of his sickness, but he looked, like he was so grateful for you to do what you were doing. I mean, I remember he would take that back seat. He would sit back a little bit and let Linda put this together. Earl has on the poster over there that for the 2018, there's a little photo down in the corner you'll see, and that's Father Michael Judd. That he was a friend of mine. We were actually going to do a presentation at a health and safety conference in Phoenix, September 23rd of 2001. He didn't make it that day. He's considered the first person who died on 2011. Although he wasn't the first, he's number one. And he was our chaplain. He was our fire chaplain. And I'm not very religious. I'm spiritual, and I have that. But he has a prayer, and his prayer was, Lord, take me where you want me to go. Let me meet who you want me to meet. Let me say what you want me to say, and keep me out of your way. And he would use that prayer, and it reminds me of what this organization does, is they really have the courage to get out there. They have the courage to meet who they have to meet, and they have the courage to say what they want to say. And they know that if they stay out of the way and focus on this challenge, that they will be successful. This has been an incredible day with so many incredible people here in the room. I have learned, so it's been a long day, but I have learned so much, for me to do this. And I just want to say that in the fire service, we say to each other, we have your back. I can tell Linda that 310,000 IAFF, International Association of Firefighters, we have your back and ADAO's back. And we will mourn for those that we lost, but we're going to fight like hell for the living until this is passed. Thank you.